Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cage Talk. Today I have a professional female MMA fighter. Her name is Kayla Hracho. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm hanging in here. Just got off work not too long ago, and here we are. And you are in Florida, correct?
I am. Yep, South Florida. I'm in Coconut Creek.
Coconut Creek, and that's again very famous for a lot of fighters coming out, especially American Top Team and other spots like that. Boca is another big spot for fighters and stuff.
Yep.
Again, I lived not too long ago. I lived in Boca for just a little bit, not too much. Had an ex-girlfriend from PA, and
Really?
yeah,
I'm from PA as well.
I know exactly. That's why I kind of. But are you Puerto Rican?
I am not. No.
All right, she was nuts. Yeah, yeah, she was pretty crazy.
I might be nuts, but I'm not Puerto Rican.
No. You seem like a kind person. Yeah, I lived with her for maybe like a year in Boca and stuff like that, and that's when they had the Black Zillions and stuff like that, and yeah, I mean Boca's really nice compared to like Miami. Like again, like we talked a little bit.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I can't. Miami's like its own country. It really is.
For sure. Yeah, each town in Florida is pretty different, but I like to call Coconut Creek like the mecca of MMA.
It really is.
Know?
It really is. I mean, again, you have some really good fighters out there, and it's weird. It goes from like Miami being like another South America. It's like its own country, and then you just keep going up. Keep going north. Then you get to like Coconut Creek, and you get a little bit whiter. Then you go Boca Raton, it gets white, and then you go Fort Myers, and it's like completely. But it's good. The more north you go, the better.
Yeah.
I've
been on who you talk to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right on that one. So fuck up on
if you want to be around like the old people, you can go up north, or I don't know. It's probably a lot more slower paced up there, huh?
Well, definitely. I mean, Boca Raton, it was like it's like a mini New York because you have all those snowbirds that go over there, and I mean, I had fun. I mean, it was okay, but like on a Friday night, there ain't nothing to do. I mean,
That's true.
You can go to the Ave. That was like in I think it was in Deerfield. Where was that? I don't remember. But yeah, it was.
I feel like there's nothing to do in Deerfield. But to be honest, I'm like the most boring person on the planet. I have lived in South Florida for almost, I think, over 4 years now.
Okay.
And I've probably been to Miami like once or twice.
And
it wasn't to go out or party. It was like to see my manager or to go to the doctor. So super boring.
Talking about that, I was reading up on you as well, and again, like you said, that's why I brought the PA. What part of PA were you did you grow up in?
Reading.
Okay, and you left.
It's like between Philly and Allentown, hour from Philly.
Okay, all right. And do you miss it at all?
No, not really. I do kind of miss the seasons sometimes. I do feel like living in Florida and also being a pro fighter, I feel like I have no sense of time down here. Like, it doesn't really matter what day of the week it is. I'm kind of doing the same thing every day. Every day it's sunny out. So it's like time seems to go by pretty quickly here in South Florida. But I love it here. I really do. I don't know if I'll call this home forever. There are things that I miss about PA, and, my family is still there. But yeah, I like where I'm at.
Definitely. How old were you when you left PA?
I was 25 when I moved to South Florida.
And you left because you wanted to pursue in professional fighting, correct?
So yeah, when I lived in PA, I was just an amateur boxer. I had about like 2.5 years of boxing experience. And I never really considered going to MMA. I planned to turn pro in boxing, but then I sort of came upon the opportunity of a lifetime to come visit American Top Team in Coconut Creek. And it was just like it was something that I obviously wasn't going to turn down. Like I said at the time, I didn't really know if MMA was something I wanted to pursue. I didn't know if I would be good at it. You know, I didn't really know what the future would look like, but I felt like if I had the opportunity to, you know, visit the best gym in the world, like I would be silly to turn that down. So here I am,
That's
still
awesome.
4 years later and still kicking. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you said, did they offer you a visit, or how did you look them up, or how did that come about?
Got pretty lucky, man. I was actually visiting a trainer and friend of mine in New Jersey. He's a boxing coach, Coach Anthony.
Okay.
Anthony Rodriguez. And he posted a video of me, you know, hitting pads and playing around. And the right person happened to come across this video. It was Dean Thomas, who was a former, you know, he's a legend. I
have him on the show. I had him on the show as well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Dean changed my life single-handedly. You know, he came across this video and he commented something on it like, "She's proper" or something. And I was like, Dean Thomas calling me proper? I actually messaged him and was like, listen, man, I want to reach my highest potential as a fighter. I don't know if MMA is something that I want to do, but I do know that if I am training under you and I'm training at ATT, I will get there. Mm-hmm. And after a short conversation, Dean was basically like, when are you coming to visit? I said, I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it's funny, at the time, I was actually getting ready to move to New York City to pursue professional boxing. I was like 4 days away from moving. I mean, my car was packed up and everything. And when I had this conversation with Dean, you know, I put my trip on hold, took the little bit of money I had left in my bank account and came down to visit for about a week. Mm-hmm. And the visit went great. Obviously, you know, it was hard. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to continue to pursue.
That's awesome. That's ballsy as hell too, especially something that you're not too familiar with. Not even just the environment, but going, goddamn, there has to be a damn plane that's going across. Sorry. I don't know if you can hear that. But yeah, not only just pursuing that, but, you know, leaving your home, mm-hmm. you know, getting out of that comfort level and stuff like that. And that's I think what life's all about, is just adapting, and that's how you survive, is just adapting to other places and stuff that you're. For sure. So it's
crazy. I mean, I don't think people understand, like, when I came to visit ATT, I didn't even know what jiu-jitsu was. You know, I never threw a kick in my life. I didn't know how to pummel or shoot or nothing. And my very first class was Steve Mako's pro wrestling class. And, you know, I'm surrounded by some of the best fighters on the planet. Like, I look to my right, there's Dustin Poirier. I look to my left, there's Joanna. And I'm like,
that's crazy, huh?
You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, it was embarrassing, and it was frustrating. It was hard, but I stuck with it. And I'm so happy that I did.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. And Dean's such a classy guy. I love Dean. When I had him on, he's just such a fun person to talk to, but he's I mean, he knows his shit. I mean, from, you know, top to bottom. And I know that now he doesn't train over there in American Top mm-hmm. Team. He kind of went his own way, but still, I had you know, Jose Torres. I had him on the Shorty. I had him on the show, that he trains with them and stuff like that. So just the fact that, you know, he reached out and stuff like that. And again, he's not rude. He's never rude. He's always been a swell guy to talk to and stuff like that, and always helping out. So shout out to Dean Thomas, because
sure.
He's super cool.
Yeah, shout out to Dean for changing my life, and he taught me a lot. I mean, he really like built a really good foundation in me, physically and mentally. Mm-hmm. You know, and it is sad that he left the gym, but I feel like the things that he taught me will stay with me forever. So I'm very grateful for that.
Definitely. Now, the transition, you said you were doing boxing for a while. Were you going to automatically go into MMA, or did you want to do some boxing in Florida still and then still test out the waters? Or once you moved to Florida, you're like, no, I'm just gonna pursue now. I'm gonna switch to MMA.
Good question. I think that when I first came to Florida, my focus was definitely on MMA. You know, I had a lot to learn. And I wanted to fight amateur as much as I could before going pro, just to try to get that experience. There was times where I thought about, you know, taking boxing fights. Like, I did want to fight pro boxing, thought about taking a few fights, but I even thought about jumping in a bare knuckle, make some money. But ultimately, my goal is MMA. Okay. And I really do want to put my focus into MMA. Later down the road, you know, if it makes sense for my career, it's definitely something I would consider. I love boxing. You know, it's my first love. And I don't think I'll retire from fighting without fighting a pro boxing fight. I definitely think it's in my future, but we'll see.
Yeah. You always want to kind of dip your hand into other things and stuff like that, especially some background that, I mean, you're used to already. I mean,
right.
But talking about the whole transition to MMA, what was your hardest discipline to work with? Was it the wrestling? Was it jiu-jitsu? Was it clinch?
I would say when I first started, I would say the most difficult was actually the kicks, because I think people underestimate how different the distance management is in boxing and MMA. I think people really underestimate that. So when there's kicks involved, you fight at a different distance, you know, so it took a really long time for me to adjust to that. Like, even just to be able to land my right hand, you know? So I would say the kicks.
Yeah. And especially if you get someone long and lengthy that knows how to use that. It's obnoxious because, again, it's frustrating because, again, I did boxing back in the day too, so I understand what you mean about closing the distance and stuff. And then you're you're used to just up here, the elbow from your stomach all the way to your shoulders. That's all you have to deal with. But now you have someone throwing a damn leg kick or front kick, and it's like not closing that distance and stuff. So
yeah, it's very different. Yeah. Very different. And I learned the hard way, you know, like when I came to UTT, I guess I was training a lot with Tisha Torres at the time. You know, we're talking about a girl with, you know, incredible kickboxing and incredible experience. So, you know, it's not like I was getting kicked in the head by amateurs. No, like I was getting kicked by, you know, girls top 5 in the UFC. So it was a rude awakening, but it taught me a lot quick. You know, it taught me how to survive fast. And
it really did.
You know, then when I learned to survive, I learned how to thrive. So it's a process.
Yeah, it definitely is a process. But I mean, again, you got not thrown into the wolves, but you kind of did. I mean, you had to grow up fast, pretty much, you know?
For sure.
Especially at that type of gym and stuff like that. You know, there's smaller gyms like that don't, you know, have that much quality fighters. But American Top Team, I mean, anyone that comes out of there are straight killers. So
yeah,
I mean, hey, again, that's ballsy on your end. I mean, I give you the biggest props because to leave PA to go to South Florida to pursue something that you weren't looking forward to, because again, you were going for boxing and then switching it up. I mean, again, like we talked about before, it's being to adapt. You have to adapt. So.
Yeah, it was definitely a huge risk, you know, but I think it's worth it. It was probably the best decision I ever made in my life, and you know, we'll see where it takes me.
No, definitely. And you did have. I was looking at your amateur record, and I was like, damn, she has a list of amateur fights, and like you were mentioning before, you wanted the amateur fights before going pro, just because you wanted to get comfortable and stuff like that. And throughout all your fights that you had in amateur, and then we'll talk about when you're professional, what was the learning lesson from each amateur fight, or maybe not each amateur fight, maybe one certain fight that you learned the most from? You're like, okay, that's when, you know, that amateur fight taught me that. Next time I go into the next fight, I'm not going to do that. Or it might not even be a lesson, like a bad lesson. You get what I'm saying? But
man, I learned so much. I actually think some of the best lessons I took they weren't considered amateur fights. They were actually exhibition fights.
I saw that. I was looking at
Yeah,
that.
I had an opportunity to go to South Africa,
That's
and
cool.
I competed in a tournament that was similar to the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
Except it was based in South Africa for a promotion called EFC. And man, it was such a good experience because I was still an amateur, but I was competing against pros. And not only were these girls professionals, but it was also almost 2 weight classes above mine. So, you know, I was the smallest girl there. I was the least experienced girl there. And I actually had 2 wars. I mean, these were like really, really good fights. Probably 2 of the best fights of my career. On paper, I lost both of them, but it was some of the best experience that I could have taken into my pro career. You know, the fights were pro rules, like I said, against girls with good experience and a lot of weight on me. So I would say I took the most lessons from those fights, and I had a lot of fun.
That's also another thing you kind of want to do, is have fun with it, right? I mean, enjoy the process. Again, life goes by quick, and if you don't enjoy those little moments and stuff like that, I mean, you're not living. Again, with the fights, same thing. You gotta kind of take it one day at a time, one fight at a time. Do you have a fight in the near future? Because I know with the whole, how's the Corona and all the pandemic shit, how's that affecting you for fighting?
I've actually been really fortunate. I recently signed with First Round Management, and they've been able to keep me really busy. At the end of last year, I fought 2 times in 3 weeks for a promotion called Icon Fighting Federation. I actually fought in Mexico, which was incredible. And I am fighting for Icon again on March 5th. This time it's in Biloxi, Mississippi, and it will be streamed on UFC Fight Pass.
Sweet.
So yeah, March 5th.
Promote
March
that
5th
shit out. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome.
You got it.
That's cool. That's cool. And who are you fighting, if you don't mind me asking?
I am fighting Emily King.
Emily King. I have not heard of her, but I'm thinking that you'll win.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tough girl. She actually, her last 2 fights were in Bellator.
Okay.
She fought Ava Knight and she fought Carrie Melendez.
Okay.
So she does have some good experience under her belt. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Now, when you go into preparation and stuff, how much film study do you do on fighters, or is that something that you leave for your coaches to do, or you guys both sit down and kind of look at that?
I'll be honest, like I watch film, but I don't watch too much. Okay. I do watch a little bit just to, kind of get an idea of, maybe a few like tendencies that they have. But after that, I let it go and I focus on me and my game plan.
Yep. Sounds good.
I mean, I do enjoy watching film, but I have found that in the past, it tends to kind of backfire a little bit if you focus too much on what you think they're going to do, because at the end of the day, you never know. Yep. They could be a complete different fighter. They could have a complete different game plan than you expect. So I try not to read into it too much. I'm confident in my preparation, my ability to adapt. So I try to keep the focus on myself.
Yeah, I think that would be probably the best way to do it, is just maybe see like a fight or two and that's it. Just because, like you said,
right.
You just got to focus on yourself, your capabilities, what you got to do, and not really worry about the other person. Because, like, again, anything can happen, especially in MMA. So understand you on that.
A lot of times too, like when you're watching your opponent, sometimes you tend to overestimate their abilities, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
Like if I see a fighter and they look like they're, a really good grappler, it's like, well, maybe their opponent is making them look good, so I don't know. I prefer, like I said, to just focus on my game plan, what I need to do. And to be honest, I like to not even prepare for a specific opponent, but to prepare for the best in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the mentality you have to have, especially once you get, to other opponents. You start, going to other promotions. I mean, there's gonna be always good fighters everywhere. Once you start getting into the deeper waters and stuff, I mean,
Exactly.
so, but that's awesome. Is there a certain technique or certain combo or combinations that you like to throw? Maybe like that I mean, hopefully that chick will never watch this video, before, but like, like, is there um, anything that you like to usually throw? You see yourself throwing a lot in the fights and stuff like that, just because maybe the movements, it just comes naturally and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't want
You
to
mean
answer,
against her or just in
just
general?
in general, in all your fights, in any of
I
the
would say body shots.
body shot.
Body shots. That's something that I think is a little underestimated in
Very,
MMA.
very.
I think it's a really good skill I bring from boxing, and
Mhm.
I love digging to the body. And not a lot of people use it. Not a lot of people are used to feeling it. So I feel like once I get really good at mastering how to use body shots in MMA, I think it'll be a problem for a lot of people.
Definitely, you
So
see.
yeah, body shots.
Yeah, you see a little bit more and more as the fights go on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are attacking the bodies, and I mean, it sucks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, a lot of people tend to, when they're scrambling or trying to block, they just tend to kind of do like the Alistair Overeem, just completely.
Yeah, shell up.
Yep, and I mean, I'm just like, the body shots like right there, just give them a hook right there.
For sure.
But coming from a boxing experience, I mean, that's what they learn. That's what you do. Body shots
For
are really
sure.
important in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to see a.
It is a little more difficult in MMA just because, again, the distance,
Mm-hmm.
the small gloves have to be a little bit more careful about putting together long combinations. It is different, but yeah, I think once I master that, like I said, it's going to be a problem for people. I'm looking forward to digging that body up.
There we go. That's awesome.
Another thing is, like, a lot of people, especially at this level, like, everyone is tough. Most people are pretty durable and able to take a lot of shots to the face and keep them forward. But, those body shots are something that you can't like push through, really. You know what I mean? If it lands and it hurts, it's going to hurt.
Well,
like,
a lot.
slow you down.
I think a lot of people just realize, like, they think like, just because there's two fighters fighting and then they get a body kick or something like that, they're like, oh, they should tough it out, or they'll be fine. But like, if you you do that to a normal person, that shit hurts. Like, they'll go down.
Yeah.
Like, and I think people don't realize that. People are just so like.
Oh, for sure.
It's frustrating sometimes, because I would watch it, like yesterday when I was watching the fight. My friend's like, oh, that didn't look like it hurt. Or I'm like, bullshit. I mean, if that would have happened to you, you would have been on the floor. Like, any normal person would have been on the floor. But
yeah, people really have no idea. I think when I think about every time I've been hurt in the gym, it's been from a body shot. It's been from a spin back kick or a body kick or a body shot. Like that. That's what makes you stop.
Mhm.
Most fighters are pretty accustomed to getting hit in the face. Unless even if you get stunned and you're a little dizzy, like,
you're still used.
You're able to keep moving forward and hide it a little bit. But a body shot, like, you cannot hide.
You can't.
There's times where Amanda Rebus has, kicked me, or I've even been kicked by Kayla Harrison. Like, I will drop. So yeah, them body shots are no joke.
You can't hide those. And the worst is when they can try so much, but you see the pain in their face, and I mean, after that, you want to look at a really, really good. I mean, again, I'm a little bit older than you, so I've been watching UFC for a long time and know old fighters. You have to look up David Lewazzo. Okay, David Lewazzo has one of the nastiest. Back in the day, he had one of the nastiest body kicks. He had the spinning back kick, and then he also had some really good ground and pound with the elbows. He was nasty with the elbows.
Nice.
He's more famous about that the elbows, but you have to look up David Lewazzo. I had him on. Cool guy, but yeah, he was one of the ones I used to watch, and he would attack that body. And damn, yeah, it was It was some good stuff. I'll send you a clip of a video I have of him that he did a body
Cool.
shot on the guy. But
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
anything you want to say before I let you go? Because again, I know you're a busy person. You're probably gonna go watch the Super Bowl or something, or anything that you want to say to maybe a fighter, male or female, that's watching this, that's, maybe gonna go through that, that leap of faith that you did, that, they're like, oh, I don't know if I should go and pursue this.
Mhm.
Anything. I mean, to put you on the spot, it always stuns people. They're like,
No, it's all good. I mean, I want to be honest. Like, I just want people to know that, I came down here 4 years ago, and it's every single day has been harder than the next. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really get easier. I struggle financially. I struggle mentally. I struggle physically. It really is a daily struggle. But as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and, believing in yourself and having faith and working hard, you can do anything. I truly believe that. So, don't think just because something gets hard that means that you're not meant to do it. There's so many times that I could have quit this journey or felt like, this is too hard. It's not for me, but I'm still here, and I really believe that my life is going to change this year. So yeah, just keep going, man.
there you go.
One step in front of the other.
That's awesome.
And
Again,
follow me.
Oh, I will follow you.
K-Rock MMA.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think I'm following you.
It is
Yeah, follow.
K-A-Y.
Uh-huh.
You better. It is K-A-Y-ROCK MMA. You guys follow me.
There we go.
I'll try to post updates. I'm fighting March 5th. UFC Fight Pass. Do not miss it.
There we go. Awesome. I wish you nothing but the best. I'll be rooting for you. And hopefully we'll see a spinning back kick. You never know. I would lose my shit if I saw.
Maybe.
She saw the video. She saw the video. But again,
you never know.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an honor to have you on the show. So I do appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate it as well.
You have a good one. All right.